Happy Friday, everybody. How are you today? This is Barbara Fralinger just coming to you live on a Friday, I like to call it, because it's the end of the week. And I know that, a lot of people are gearing up for the weekend. And I wanted to let you know, specifically for all my fellow boss babes out there who are trying to really, get their online businesses up and running and really trying to just make a better life for themselves and their family. Weekends are critical for you. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they are critical for you. And that's the time when you can really gain some traction. So what I wanted to talk about was some things that I've been learning lately in this development program that I'm part of. And there are 3 phases. If you are just starting out with your online business, or maybe you're a couple months in, or maybe you're at that 6-month mark, okay? What you really need to understand is that there are 3 phases that you're gonna go through, and they're normal, okay? And this is where I see a lot of people mess up, because they don't understand that the struggle is real, yes, but on the other side, once you just keep, drudging through and you get to the other side, you are gonna have success. First thing that I see most people do when they get involved in any kind of online business or network marketing company is they get all excited. We're all excited when we start something new, and we get stoked for our future because we believe again. Right? We start to have hopes and dreams, and we start to really think, oh my gosh, maybe I really can have the life that I wanted if I do this. And those are all good feelings, and those are very real feelings, and it is possible. So excitement sets in. Maybe you get a couple people in your life who sign up, to be part of your team or to try out whatever it is that you're doing, and you feel like, wow, bam, I just made a couple $100 this week, and I just signed up a couple of my friends, and this is great, right? So then right around, 60 to 90 days, people start to get frustrated. And this is phase number 2, okay? Because what happens now is they start to see that maybe their friends and family were just doing them a favor, right? And they were just helping them out, and now their paycheck isn't what it was, right? Or maybe they never even got that traction in the beginning. Maybe they didn't have the support of close friends and family in what they were doing. So now they're starting to think, oh my gosh, 2 months in, I'm on auto ship for these products, and I'm not making any money back. So now I'm just thinking I'm a failure at this, right? But what needs to happen during that part where the struggle is really, really real is that you need to figure it out. So that's the time when you bear down the most. That's not the time to run. That's not the time to jump, and do something else. That is the time to figure it out. That is the time when you have to say, okay, what have I been doing? What are my habits like? Am I coming home every night after work, and have I been consistent in trying to grow my network, in trying to reach out to people and present whatever opportunity I'm doing? Have I been consistent with that, right? And it doesn't need to take a long time, you guys. It only needs to be anywhere from a half hour to an hour a night when you're first getting started, but it needs to be consistent. So the big thing is keeping that original excitement and vision in your mind when you feel like you want to quit. Because that's what I see so much. I see people, they get into it, oh, this just isn't for me. It's not that it's not for you. It's not for you, the you that got into it originally. It's for the new you that you are becoming through the struggle, okay? The new you has to figure it out and be a different person. Who do you need to be in order to do so that you can get and have what it is that you really want? So you're going to have to make some changes, whether that's changes to your schedule, it's changes in how your outlook is about yourself. Maybe you're going to have to really delve into if it's fear, if you haven't done everything that maybe you're learning to do in your business, because you're afraid. You don't want to put yourself out there. You know, you're afraid of rejection, or you just have gotten a few no's. You know, I get thousands of no's, you guys, thousands. And a lot of you have given them to me, right? But I've learned that I can't take that personally. And the only way that I've learned that is by doing a lot of the development program, that I'm part of now, but I've always done personal development. I've always been working on myself and trying to figure out what it is that I can do differently, right? Instead of putting it on something else. Oh, well, you know, nobody wants to do this, or everybody does that, or, you know, this always happens, or this never happens when I try something. Instead of having all of those limiting beliefs, I recognize, okay, that is a limiting belief and it's stopping me right now. What is the work I need to do? What is the action I need to take at this point? I need to change something. I have to change something. If I've been doing it one way and I've been successful, you know, my whole life at doing it a certain way, that doesn't mean that I just can't change and do it another way. I have to figure it out. So again, I'm going to compare this to sports because it's so important. I was a pitcher, okay? So I was terrible when I first started, you guys, terrible. I think I was 12 when I first started pitching. I was 9 when I first started playing, 12, and that's late considering how people, you know, start really early today. 12 years old. I think I've told this story before too. My first game, I walked 18 people. I threw the ball over the fence, the backstop, like, okay, 12 to 15 feet high. I hit people. It was horrible, but I also struck 18 people out. So there was hope, but I could have just stuck to, oh, you know what? I walked all those people. I hit people. I'm so embarrassed. I threw the ball over the fence. Everybody saw it. Of course I was going to go through it. But when I started, I had a vision. There were people that I looked up to that were doing it, and I thought, I want to be like that person. It was just a dream that I had. As a child, I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to be like someone who I idolized. And I kept that vision. And I was like, I'm just going to have to practice harder. I'm going to have to do something else to get this done. Am I going to have to sign up for a camp, a clinic, get a pitching coach? What am I going to have to do? Because this is what I really want. So instead of my just running and being embarrassed that I threw the ball over the fence, I was doing that for a long time, you guys, a long time. The struggle was real. But let's look at the long term now, okay? Long term, what happened? I had a vision when I was in 7th grade that I was going to go to college, play softball, and win an NCAA championship. That was my vision, all right? I went through ups and downs and craziness, wins, losses. I was on good teams. I was on horrible teams, Bad News Bears type teams. It was bad, right? So I always would take it and internalize it as my fault. Whenever things would go wrong, when we would lose, I would think if I was better, that wouldn't have happened, right? So all I did was try to be better. I took everybody else out of the equation and I said, what can I do to be better? Do you know what ended up happening? What ended up happening was I ended up going to college. I ended up playing for a nationally ranked softball team, and we ended up winning an NCAA championship. I had that vision in 7th grade. I had ups and downs in my whole career, going from middle school to high school, right? Lots of wins, lots of losses, lots of times when I doubted my abilities, even in college, you know, doubting my abilities. It just was what it was, but it was a constant fight because I knew I just had something inside me that said, I want to hit that vision. I know that I can do it. I don't care how long it takes. So 10 years later, I hit my goal. I don't care if it takes me 50 years. I don't even know if I'll live 50 more years, but I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me how long it takes. I know that I want to be successful in my business. So I'm going to keep trying different ways to figure it out until I reach where I want to be. That's where you are right now. If you are like, oh, well, this is just too hard for me, you know, and people said no, and all these people are talking about me and saying, oh, she's crazy or he's crazy for doing this, and all. Of course they're going to say that. Don't you think people said in the stands when I was pitching, they should take that girl out? She's throwing the ball over the fence like 15 times now. Take her out. Yes, I didn't care. I didn't care. I learned to block that out. And it, you know, sports is just, it's just such a metaphor, but it's true. So here's the thing. The next thing that you have to realize is that this phase of struggle leads to the final phase. Once you start to figure it out and you say, okay, well, I realize that I haven't been consistent, or I realize that now I have to teach the duplication process. If you're in network marketing, I have to be able to teach other people. So maybe I need to do something. I need to go to a conference. I need to find a mentor. I need to, you know, figure out who and how I'm going to do this. You know, if something has changed, I've got to figure out if I've been successful before and I'm not now. I've got to figure out and do whatever it takes, no matter how long it takes, okay? And then once you find that and you're doing everything possible to try and find the answer, you will get to a point where it works for you, and then you get on the other side, which is traction. That's the third phase, and that's when all the magic happens. It's like all the magic, the Quan, right? All the magic happens there. So when you do that, and that's probably like 6 months in, you're going to have to do 6 months, you know, 6 months, maybe a year, you know, of consistency over and over, and fighting mental battles within yourself every single day, saying, I know I can do this, fighting it, and fighting through, right? And working on yourself constantly in order to keep that fight. So do what it takes, you guys. If you're in a business right now, an online business, and you're just going to, you know, I always, well, and I look at it as when I teach about like internal and external locus of control. You either have an internal locus of control where you say, I control my destiny, or you have an external locus of control. Nobody's going to want to do this with me. No one ever makes money at those things. Only, do you see how you're letting everybody else and the whole world around you affect your future? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Go through the struggle, get to the other side with the traction. And that is my tip for you this Friday as you go into the weekend. This weekend, don't get caught up. If you really want to build a big business, don't get caught up in doing things that aren't going to put you where you need to be. Yes, it's important to have balance in your family time and all of that, but don't just put your business up on the shelf, okay? That's the time when you need to devote, because you will have some extra time. Get up an hour earlier before all the kids and everybody in the house is up. Do your work then, you know? An hour, you guys, is an hour of your weekend now worth freedom, financial freedom in the future? Like a year from now? 2 years from now? Yes, it's worth it. So you have to stop looking for instant gratification with it. Look at it as a long term, and don't just automatically assume you're not cut out for it. Just because you've had a failure, that means that you're trying and you're going forward. You have to fail forward and just keep going. Okay, have a wonderful day, you guys, and I will be talking to you soon.